Hey everybody, welcome back to Mining Modern. I'm Corbin Hostler, and it is time for Runaway Steam-Kin in Modern. That's right, everybody. We are doing our best to make Guilds of Ravnica happen. So over the next couple weeks, we will be exploring Guilds of Ravnica in Modern. I have a sweet Sultai Scepter deck lined up for you in the next week or two, but I want to make sure the list, I want to get a little more testing in with it before I show it off. But in the meantime, we are going to have fun with Runaway Steam-Kin. This card is just great. If you cast a red spell and has fewer than 3 1/1 counters on it, you get a 1/1 counter. Pretty good, right? And when it has 3, you can remove it from mana, which in this game, by the way, is going to be pretty good. So I think I'm going to just play it now and try to, just go off with it next turn here. Our opponent, I can only assume, what do we see here? Oath of Nissa took a Lotus Cobra. This has to be a Saheeli combo. But our hand is pretty sweet. So this deck's fun. I don't know that I'm much of an 8-whack player, but I do like brewing with new cards, and we're also playing Flame of Keld in our deck. So we are going in on the new cards, everybody. It's going to be a good time over the next month or two in Modern. So, all right, this is so good. We can actually, if only we had, oh no, it's not going to work because it makes green mana. No! If we'd hit a land, we could have done it. As is, I'm probably just going to play the Firebrand and the Goblin Guide, kill the Lotus Cobra, get in for a bunch of damage here. I mean, I could play this, but I can only follow it up with one spell, so I don't think it's worth it. And next turn we can play it and then kick this and probably just win the game that way. So this seems like the better line. Not to mention the Steam-Kin's going to be big. Might just play out a whole hand next turn. All right. Also, taking out the Lotus Cobra is good. That is a nice thing we can do. Yeah, so I don't know if Runaway Steam-Kin is going to, really make a home for itself in Modern or in decks like this or whatever, but we do have a pretty easy turn 4 kill here. No matter how you look at it, our opponent just absolutely unable to keep up, and that's why you play this deck right there, everybody. Think about next turn, though. Runaway Steam-Kin. All right, so let's look at our next turn. We were going to have a Bushwhacker, so we were going to play the Burning Tree Emissary. That would have put 3 counters here. I then would have removed 3 counters, and I would have had 5 mana in my pool. I would have played the Firebrand, put another counter on it. I would have kicked the Bushwhacker, put another counter on it, and then played the surged out Reckless Bushwhacker, and I would have attacked for just like 35 damage or something. Could have made 3 more mana. That's crazy. Let's see what we can do in game 2. All right, our opponent's on Saheeli combo here. I think that means Searing Blood's going to be pretty good. It's probably good. I don't even know what you cut when you play this deck. This thing would probably cut a Flame of Keld. Maybe even 2, to be honest. I think it's just a race, but we'll keep 1 Flame of Keld in here. I'm going to cut... Like I said, I don't know exactly... I certainly don't know how to board with this deck. I feel like we do have a lot of 2-drops now with all these Searing Bloods, but Searing Blood's very good against our opponent. Yeah, it seems pretty good. All right, I'm going to cut a... Devastating Summons. And I'm just going to trim on the edges here. I'm going to cut a Firebrand. A Firebrand's actually very good against their 1-drop. Like, it's even their Lotus Cobras and stuff. So maybe that's actually even a better 1-drop than, say... See, I don't know. I'm going to cut a Goblin Grenade because we actually need to focus, especially on the draw here, getting the damage in, and we don't want to... we need burn spells at the end. And maybe we'll just play 1. It's either cut the other Flame of Keld or something, but... I think that this deck is actually... I think that the Saheeli deck has moved on to playing Militia Bugler, which makes sense. It gets all of its pieces, but that actually doesn't get killed by Searing Blood, so maybe not worth it. All right, 4 lands in our deck feels pretty bad, but Double Goblin Guide feels pretty good, especially off of this Burning Tree Emissary, so I think I'm going to give this a shot. I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm willing to give it a shot here. And that's, again, assuming our opponent's actually on Saheeli combo. I mean... Oath of Nissa, Lotus Cobra certainly suggests that to me. I think it's the only deck that really plays those things, but we'll see. Wow, another land is actually pretty unlucky. I mean, there's only, I think, 19 lands in our deck, so having 4 in our opening hand is already unlucky. Yeah, and there's a Militia Bugler from our opponent that they have on top. Yeah, drawing 4 lands is unlucky. Drawing 5 lands is just kind of a disaster, but... we might be able to draw out of it. We'll see here. I mean, it depends what our opponent has. If they just have a Lotus Cobra or something... we actually still get a... oh, voice is good. All that said, I mean, this turn's actually still just fine for us. We get to play this. We get to play the Goblin Guide after that. We get to attack here. And we're getting in for 4. 2 cards enter the revealed card zone. Birds of Paradise twice. Okay, perfect. So our opponent drawing Birds of Paradise here, I think, is pretty good for us. You know, we desperately need to draw another. Basically, if we can draw a 1-drop to go with our Bushwhacker, that would be great. If our opponent goes for the Bugler here, I think that's fine. Oh, wow. Knight of Autumn, huh? Yeah, we are playing Modern with Guilds of Ravnica. Look at that. Our opponent just gained 4 life with Knight of Autumn. I love it. All that said, it wasn't actually very good for him here. All right, we'll kick this Bushwhacker. And then just attack. This sets up, I mean, our opponent's... Oh, a Felidar Guardian on top, huh? You know, the 1/4 of Felidar Guardian is actually pretty reasonable. I would say our opponent's in a good spot. I would say that those 5 lands we drew are coming back to haunt us a little bit, but that's okay. I mean, it's always going to be tough on the draw, especially when your opponent is playing things like Knight of Autumn and Militia Buglers and things that just block very well. All of that said, no, I don't really know how we're supposed to win from here, to be honest. I'm going to keep this Goblin Grenade in my hand, though. Basically, if our opponent's doing nothing, and by the way, let's see if they have a land here. They might not. They do. Okay, they do have their land. So they put it into play tapped, though. So, wow, another Knight of Autumn. Yeah, I think we're going to die to that. That's pretty good. This card is so good. This is definitely one of the cards I am most excited about in Modern. It just does so much. It's just so good. Militia Bugler, by the way, is pretty good, too. Our opponent's just on all new cards over there. Militia Buglers, Knight of Autumns. But yeah, I mean, it's a better Reclamation Sage, except for the part where it's not an elf, which is sort of relevant, I guess. Oh, no, and they get a Blanket? They get a Blanket with Felidar? All right, I'm playing this deck now. This game's over. This game's super over. But I am definitely playing this deck in the future. That's for sure. That value is insane. Our opponent's at 22 life against 8 whack. We do our 6th land. All right. All right, let's get on to game 3. Let's get on to game 3, where we see if we can just overrun them with a very fast start. But, man, Blinking Knight of Autumns, I am in. That is a nice play. All right, on the play, I want this other Searing Blood. What do we cut? I don't know what to cut. It might be Flame of Keld, but I feel like we get our opponent down to a little life total. And having Flame of Keld to just draw a Lightning Bolt and then do 5 damage to that Lightning Bolt is just so good. Or, you know, 7 damage with a Goblin Grenade or whatever. I'm actually going to cut a Burning Tree Emissary, I think. I think it's very similar, for instance, to Runaway Steam-Kin. But I think I like Runaway Steam-Kin a little better. The green mana you get from the Knight is just so wasted in this deck most of the time. From the... Wow, we draw 5 lands now? Come on, game. We're going to get Magic Online pretty hard here, I guess. Sure. Oh, this is a disaster. All right. I don't know. Sometimes you don't get a play. Sometimes it doesn't matter if your deck is 19 lanes, you're going to flood out. Wow, how unlucky. 2 games in a row. 2 games in a row just get completely hosed here, but that's how it goes on Magic Online, I suppose. I mean, I'm going to attack for 4. I guess this is where we want to draw Flame of Keld. It's the only possible way we can win the game. It's pretty rough. This deck is not supposed to mulligan very often because literally like 80% of the cards in your deck do the exact same thing. So it's actually just kind of absurd to have 2 games. Okay, well, there you go. All right, I'm not going to complain. That's Magic Online. It happens to everybody. We are, however, very dead. Well, it's if you draw 5 lands in your 8 whack deck by turn 3, everybody, and you do it 2 games in a row, after mulligan, you're probably not going to win. You're probably not going to win. All that said, our opponent actually had a pretty sick draw here anyways with the Birds of Paradise into Militia Bugler on turn 2. I mean, this thing blocks so well. It has Vigilance, even starts to poke around at us. It's a very powerful card, especially in this deck, trying to set up its Felidar Guardian combo with Saheeli. I'm a fan. I've got to play this deck. I've had this on my radar for a while, and with Knight of Autumn, Yeah, I'm sold. Oh my gosh, yeah, you got it all, man. Oh, we did it. We drew our Syrian blood. I'll kill their Huntmaster. We did them damage. We did it. They're 12. You know, if they never draw, they don't exactly have a huge clock here. Maybe if they just never draw anything, and then we draw Flame of Keld, and then we get, you know, 2 lightning bolts off the Flame of Keld and deal them 10 damage or something, we've got a shot here. But how disappointing to have this game go the way it did. I think our deck is sweet. Oh, they have Thragtusk. Okay. We were just never gonna win. Alright, Syrian Blood. Well, let's kill this bird. It's too bad these Syrian Bloods would have been sweet if we just had any pressure. But I guess if our opponent was going to have Huntmaster to gain life and Thragtusk to gain life, they just had so much. They've just gained 7 life this game already. I mean, actually think about that. How good. We actually would have had them down to 6, even with our horrendous draw. I mean, our opponent is playing a 4-color deck. They're doing a lot of damage to themselves with their mana base. But I think Flame of Keld is probably our only out here. But it would be a sweet out. Did that kill us? I don't think that kills us. Oh my god, they get a copy Thragtusk? Alright, I'm done. I'm done. Good game. Our opponent's deck was too sweet. Oh, it even has haste. Oh, it's too much value for me. That was fun, though. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hey, everybody. Here we go with some more Runaway Steam-Kin 8-Wagon. This hand seems pretty nice. I guess kind of face a choice here. I can go all out aggro, or I can just lightning bolt my opponent's Arbor Elf. Given that we can play 2 haste creatures next turn, I'm actually just going to kill this Arbor Elf so that there aren't any shenanigans with Utopia Sprawl or whatever. Oh my gosh, that's a lot of Goblin Guides. I'm actually going to go, I think... No, there's no. I just got to play Goblin Guide, and the next turn play Goblin Guide, Legion Loyalists. And I guess it's a little awkward with the Burning Tree Emissary, but I think it's just so much damage so fast, especially being on the draw. We can't really try to set up for more damage 4 turns from now or whatever. We just have to maximize damage over the next 2 turns, especially given we have no idea what our opponent's up to. And they did draw a Windswept Teeth off of one of our Goblin Guides. And a Breeding Pool. It's a lot of land. Draw 2. All that said, they are at 13, and we do have 2 more haste creatures and a lightning bolt in our hands. So, yeah, they're going to need to do something pretty good to stick around here. Which, to be fair, they absolutely can. This actually helps. So now I can go Burning Tree Emissary and still play Legion Loyalist and Goblin Guide. I'm into that. No idea what our opponent's actually doing over there, but I do know I'm going to attack for quite a bit of damage. Honestly, don't even know what they'd be looking for right here. I will lose that mana. That seems fine. Let's see how many more lands we draw them this time around. Look at all those triggers. Alright, let's see what they get. They revealed an island with one of them. A Misty Rainforest with one of them. And a Mirari Conjecture? What? Our opponent's drawn 4 lands off our Goblin Guides. They're playing Mirari Conjecture. What is this? Return target instant from your graveyard to your hand. That's great. I like it. Return target sorcery. Yep. And then when you cast, you get a copy. I don't know what they're playing, but I do like it. And they have 10 cards in their hand. And they have Cryptic Command mana open. But we also might just kill them. They have to discard to hand size. Did it. Yeah, we're just going to kill them. Alright, let's try our attack here. There is the Cryptic Command as expected. Tap, draw. I might put him down to 1. I think I'm just going to put him down to 1. They're playing counterspells, so I actually kind of feel safe just doing this. So there's a couple benefits to it. I mean, at the very least, we needed to play with Fanatical Firebrand. I maybe didn't need to bolt in there, but I didn't want them to be able to fetch. They did have a Utopia Sprawl. They can play Mirari Conjecture now and get their Cryptic Command back, but they're going to need They need to not die, so they have to have Cryptic Command, but then they also need us to not draw anything. So, or they could just play Time Warp. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Now it's getting serious. Or they're just going to pass the turn back. And we drew a Goblin Grenade. Okay. Well, this has been a wild game. I can't say I expected much of this. They're going to Cryptic Command. That, probably going to Cryptic Command us, but not with that mana. There you go. Alright, well, we'll see if this Goblin Grenade's good enough. I'm down a Goblin. Let's see if they have another counterspell. They certainly might. Their deck is sweet. They have Remand. Okay. I don't know that that one's quite good enough. I will target them again. And get rid of another Goblin Guide. Do you have a 1-mana... Do you Spell Pierce me? You do not. You die. Okay, good to know. That was crazy, though. Their deck... What the heck did I just see? I don't know what to do. I'm going to play Risk Factor, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. I'm going to cut the Devastating Summons. I like cutting Devastating Summons when they have counter spells and Cryptic Commands, and they're probably going to have... Who knows? Who knows what they're going to... I'm not even going to guess what a Mirari Conjecture deck would have in Modern right now. So we are maybe cutting... The other option would be like, do we want the Searing Bloods of this members or whatever because we know they have Arbor Elves in their deck? But I don't think so. We have so many cards that kill it already between Fanatical Firebrands and Lightning Bolts and so on. And I think I have to keep this hand. We're on the draw. It's very good against the start that they might have. No, they just have the Utopia Sprawl. Okay. Our hand is very good if we draw land. That's clearly what we're going for here. I mean, yeah, never didn't have it, right? Easy game. All right, so this seems reasonable, I think, right now. Our opponent's got a pretty good start of their own going. Oh, look, an Arbor Elf. Wow. It's actually a crazy good draw for us, too, in the sense because we can actually play Burning Tree and that. But I'm going to save that for next turn, I think. I think that this turn, I'm going to Firebrand this Arbor Elf dead. In fact, this probably, to be honest, this probably just kills our opponent, now that I think about it. They had one land. They clearly were on an Arbor Elf Utopia Sprawl plan. Well, they hit the second land, so we've at least got a game, but we hit our land, and that's just really bad for them. And now we get to chain these together, and this is disgusting. Our opponent has Remand, or they're in trouble. Not good for them. They do actually have Remand, so the game's not just over. So we were going to play 2 Burning Tree Emissaries and a Reckless Bushwhacker. We were going to attack for 3 there, 6, 9, 9 plus 4. We're going to attack for 13 there on turn 3. That would have been pretty sick. Our opponent with the Arbor Elf, they're hanging around here. That's not a bad draw either. Let's see if they have another Remand. They desperately need one. Yeah, if they don't have Remand, I think they're actually just dead if they don't have a counterspell. This was pretty disgusting. This could have been turn 3, remember. They're going to fetch. So maybe they've got something for the Bushwhacker at the end here. Well, certainly acting like it. Then again, maybe they just need white mana to path it. No, they do have the Remand. Okay. Interesting they chose to let the Burning Trees resolve. Alright, well, I guess we'll get in there for 2. Seems incredibly unlikely to me that my opponent would block. Now, honestly, the question is, this is one, do I kill the Arbor Elf? It's a really hard call. It represents 2 mana by itself. I'm just worried that if I don't Goblin Grenade the Elf, we will actually just die. I mean, our opponent can untap, they can play Time Warp. They play Time Warp regardless if they have a land, but with the Elf, they can Time Warp and actually advance their board state, which is the problem. And they're at 10 and we have a board. I think I'm supposed to do it. This feels weird, and I'm not an expert at these archetypes, so maybe this is wrong. But our opponent, we don't know what they're doing. I feel like just giving them 2 mana is not worth it, because we have enough damage in play to kill them. This does make Cryptic Command mana. I am assuming we're going to get Cryptic Commanded here. Or not. Or I'm going to attack for a bunch. Maybe not get Cryptic Commanded. See what our opponent hits off the Goblin Guide. So, they have Angel Song. Oh my gosh! They have a fog! They had a fog, everybody! Oh, you got me. You got me. And now we're going to get Cryptic Commanded. Oh my gosh. Okay. Alright, you do you. You do you, friend. Oh my gosh, we got Angel Songed. What year is this? I played this in Shards of Alara. That's when I started playing with Shards of Alara. Right around that time. That's funny. It's the perfect card against us. I don't know if it's a sideboard card or if it's in their main deck, because they're playing Turbo Fog or Turbo Turns or Fog Turns or, you know, whatever. Fog Warp. But it was very good there. Next they're going to play Teferi Nexus of Fate. I don't know. They really might do that, actually. All right, let's see if we can attack this time. Nope. I didn't want to anyways. Our opponent is doing things. However, they have to do something, right? They're surviving, they're cycling, they're making land drops, they've got mana. They do have to win the game at some point. That's a Time Warp, but right now that Time Warp's just kind of an explorer. They didn't do anything else with it. You want a Time Warp with things in play that actually grant you an advantage, you know, whether that's Teferi or what have you. So here's the big one. They get a Time Warp here. Can they do anything with the rest of their mana? No. Which means this is kind of just like the death throes of the deck. They have to just keep stringing things together to try to win, and they're just not doing it. And they can play another Cryptic Command here. They can play a Snapcaster Cryptic, but they have to actually progress their own board, or they're not getting anywhere. And it doesn't seem like that's what they're doing, at least as of yet. I mean, this is going to obviously turn very quickly. They could play Teferi and Nexus of Fate for all I know, and we would probably just lose. But if they're just drawing a bunch of ramp instead, this is going to get pretty difficult for them. Here comes another time. Well, there's the Teferi. Teferi with Utopia Sprawl is pretty sick, actually. It's just actual Turbo Fog in Modern. Let's see if they have one card in play in hand, though. They only have one card. Is that last card Cryptic Command or Snapcaster Cryptic? I think I attack them. It's almost certainly enough to kill them if they don't have a fog. Did it work? Are we getting fogged again? Moment of truth. We did it! All right. Wow, what a kind of a crazy match, actually. The Turbo Fog in Modern, that just might be a thing. I mean, if you thought Teferi was good with Gift of Paradise or whatever the 3-mana thing is, Teferi with Utopia Sprawl is real. Teferi with Time Warp is real. I mean, it's not an instant. You can't cast it in your instant, but it does only cost 5 mana. That was crazy. But we got there, everybody. There you go. Runaway Steam-Kin in Modern. Thanks for watching. Everybody, here we go with some more. A whack here. Looks like our opponent, you can already tell, they're on ad nauseum, I assume, with Symbol of Enlightenment. But we have a nice, we have a medium hand here anyways. I think it could be pretty good. It's not the start we want, but it's pretty decent start with our Runaway Steam-Kin 8 whack here. I do love Flame of Keld. I'm not sure how it works in this deck. I am working off a list that Brian Brown Doan posted that he got from another pro in an article a couple weeks ago, making use of Runaway Steam-Kin, which I'm excited about. But maybe our opponent's not on ad nauseum here. All right. All of that said, this isn't exactly where I want to be, but I think it's okay. Kind of. We basically have to decide if we're going to commit to Devastating Summons plus Goblin Bushwhacker, or if we are going to commit to Flame of Keld. I'm honestly more interested in committing to Flame of Keld, so I'm just going to kick this thing. Both because Flame of Keld's more fun, and because it actually allows us to do something meaningful to the board this turn. Not that it's all that meaningful, I guess. We're getting in for 4 damage, but... I mean, Flame of Keld next turn, we can play it. We can Goblin Guide our opponent down to 10. Then we have Flame of Keld coming up the turn after that, and we'll have 3 new cards. Or we can just hold on to all of it, depending on what we draw. Like this, for instance. Now, I guess we can make a choice. The problem with Devastating Summons, too, when our opponent goes blue land pass, is that we get blown out very, very hard by removal. So what I'm actually going to do, I think, is just Lightning Bolt our opponent and Surge this out. And then next turn, we'll get to make up our minds on what we want to do. But I think this is going to work out pretty well. Our opponent is... I mean, they're not doing much, but they just have a really awkward draw with Ad Nauseam, maybe. But I only say Ad Nauseam is Temple of Enlightenment. But the 2 basic islands and the plains, I'm not sure. I'm not really sure what it is after that, to be completely honest. I'm just going to go ahead and attack here, though. This game might just end as it is. I don't really know if we're going to have to do anything here. Alright, we're getting Cryptic Commanded. Fair enough. However, this still makes this pretty easy for us, because I'm just going to Goblin Grenade them. Alright, make sure I do this the right way here. I'm going to sacrifice a Goblin. Right, I want to make sure first thing I do is choose a target. Choosing them. Now I sacrifice a Goblin. Okay. Yeah, now I'm just going to play Flame of Keld. It's not like our hand was that good. And now next turn we get to draw 2 with 2 more. So we're going to get 3 draws. Our opponent's at 1. We'd obviously draw Burn. We're 2 lands away from just Ramanap Runings our opponent out of the game. So I would say that we've got game 1 under control here. And it looks like it's just a different looking blue-white deck maybe? I'm not sure. Honestly, I don't know exactly what they're doing. But moving on to the sideboard, I do think that this is where we want these risk factors, though. They're definitely better than Devastating Summons that are going to get countered. This is I've been having so much fun with Guilds of Ravnica. So Risk Factor, this is a Punisher card, right? In the sense that it's like Browbeat. Usually they're bad because your opponent gets to make the choice. But I think in this case it might be pretty good. It's an instant. It deals 4 damage for 3 mana. It burns your opponents out. It's great when they're trying to stop you with cryptic commands. I think it's just got a lot going for it here. The rest of our sideboard doesn't seem to do much. And as good as Devastating Summons is, especially on the draw, I think our opponent counterspelling a Devastating Summons is just so bad for us. So I think Risk Factor is actually perfect here. It has Jumpstart. You can even discard it to Flame of Keld for value. For value, I tell you. Oh, this should be interesting. Like I said, I don't know. I don't know if our opponent's playing a combo deck and that's why they had the lands they had, or if they just have, you know, a different sort of mana base for a blue-white control deck. I really have no idea. I mean, I see Temple of Enlightenment. I almost always just assume Ad Nauseam, but that was clearly not an Ad Nauseam hand. You know, there was no Lotus Bloom suspended. There were no mana rocks. There were no draw spells. So I actually have no idea what to expect. I would guess that it's not just a blue-white control deck. Those lands were definitely odd for a blue-white control deck. But it's certainly possible. I mean, there was a lot of basics, but you can actually get a long way in Modern with basics. You know, with Blood Moons and the like running around. So I don't know. I guess that's the answer. I do. We just killed them too fast. We didn't get to figure out what they were playing. We didn't get to see them do their thing. But hopefully we'll do that again. Hopefully we'll end the match and I'll have no idea what my opponent was playing because they'll have died. Does seem like they're going pretty deep on the sideboarding though. This is my favorite part of Mining Modern, where I get to talk for 3 minutes and fill time and say increasingly stupid things. I apologize in advance for that. All right, so our opponent did go. They just went deep into sideboarding there, and this hand seems pretty reasonable. We go Foundry Street Denizen into Foundry Street Denizen plus Goblin Guide. So that's 4 damage on turn 2. Now there's a land I can get behind. Now that makes more sense. All right, maybe they're just playing. You know, maybe they don't have all the colonnades. Maybe they're playing Temple of Alignments for the sweet scry value. You know, nothing wrong with that. Temple of Enlightenments and Temple of Deceit are the bad ones, though. I like Temple of Skryance, Temple of Skryumph. I don't actually know if it works past that. It's just Temple of Silence and Temple of Triumph it works with. But that's neither here nor there, I guess. Alright, so let's play our Foundry Street Denizen first. Next time we're going to play Legion Loyalist plus Goblin Bushwhacker. This hand is just aggressive. Seems very good against our opponent. And keep in mind, something like Legion Loyalist actually stops their cards like that you might expect, say, Timely Reinforcements from mattering. The creature tokens can't block when Legion Loyalist is in play. Obviously, our opponent would still gain life, but if you can make the creatures irrelevant, you're starting to make some progress already. But yeah, all right. Looks like this hand was just kind of picture perfect for us, to be honest. Maybe not quite. Maybe we want 2 creatures on turn 2 that can attack. But yeah, I'm not going to complain. This hand was great. Now we just don't let our opponent draw a land off Goblin Guide. Oh, no. All right, fair enough. They got a Hallowed Fountain. And we're getting pathed. Okay. Yeah, I'm actually fine with all this. I mean, we still get in for a little bit of damage. We have a reasonable hand still. We just want to avoid drawing lands, and getting pathed kind of helps us, not draw lands a little bit anyways. I want to draw a risk factor. That's what I want to do. Oh, that's actually a good reason now to think about that. To keep a land in our hand because of risk factor. Let's see how much damage we can get in for here. We have a lot of burn to follow it up. The biggest concern would be our opponent having a Supreme Verdict next turn, but if they're mana leaking our stuff, that's not something we're going to have to worry about. Alright, well, the Legion Loyalist has been countered, but the Goblin Bushwhacker looks like it's probably going to resolve here. It is, so we get to attack for a decent amount here. 7? 8 damage? That's not bad. If our opponent doesn't have another path. Oh my gosh, they're getting so much value off of this Goblin Guide, though. No, but they're down to 10 already. I mean, we have 8 points of burn in our hand, not to mention 3 creatures in play. So the thing is, even if they have a Wrath, they're still in trouble. And I'm happy to just play this. Make our opponent answer it. I mean, they don't have Cryptic Command open here. So I just want to get in as much damage as possible to just try to win the game. It might just work. They could have Snapcaster Path. I guess that would be pretty good. But the thing is, Legion Loyalist does it all. It actually also gives our creatures First Strike and Trample. So it's actually just enormously good off of what we have here. So our opponent's just going to take it and go to 4, huh? Well, may as well see if this works. Ooh, I clicked the wrong. Ooh, okay, let's do this the right way. I'm going to choose them as my target. I'm going to sacrifice Goblin Bushwhacker. All right, so even if my opponent, we either win or they... Oh, we should have played our land. No. Not that we could really know there. This is still an uphill battle for our opponent. We have the Lightning Bolt whenever we need it. They have to not take damage again on their next turn, or the Lightning Bolt's lethal, which we can play anytime we need to. Plus, we have a deck full of a million creatures with haste and burn spells and so on. They're going to oust our Goblin Guide. Okay, seems reasonable. Let's see if we just draw a burn spell here to make it easy. We did not. Card doesn't really matter. I mean, it's certainly not going to stop me from moving to combat here. They just want one of these to get through. Oh, they're both going to get through, huh? Okay, that works. So I am going to play the land here because this now allows us to play around Mana Leak. And I'm going to try to let our opponent tap out. And I hate to slow roll. You shouldn't slow roll your opponents. But in this case, our opponent's playing a blue-white deck with counter spells. I mean, they might just die. They might just be dead to our creatures in play. But it's not a slow roll. Yeah, and our opponent says GG. We're gonna draw a Goblin Guide again. So I think this might be good enough. There you go. We got there. 8 whacked them, everybody. It was a lot of fun. Oh, that was great. Thanks for watching. Hey everybody, here is the deck tech for Runaway Steam-Kin 8 whack here. So I don't really have a great name for the deck, but we are exploring Guilds of Ravnica Modern here. It's obviously going to take us a few weeks. There's a lot to get through. It's going to be fun, but I figured we'd start off with this one. That's why we've got this deck. So this list is an interesting take on 8-Whack. This is one that a well-known multiple Pro Tour top 8s, Marin Lambert. I'm terrible at pronouncing names, just European names, so I apologize for butchering that, as I'm sure I did. But yeah, he's a great player, member of coverage as well. Posted on this list a while back. Brian Brown wrote about it for TCGplayer a couple weeks ago, and I thought I would give it a shot here because, hey, this seems like fun. So Runaway Steam-Kin is the card here. Been pretty good in standard, real good in limited. It's a 2-drop 1/1. And not much, right? But whenever you cast a red spell, if it has fewer than 3 +1 counters on it, put a 1/1 counter on it. Remove 3, make mana. So in our 8-Whack deck, you can imagine how crazy this is. You can play it on turn 2. You can play multiple cards after that. So I'm sure you've probably seen 8-Whack lists before, but here's what we got. So it's slightly different. I think the list has actually gone through some major upgrades in the past, I don't know, 6 months or so. So we've got all the 1-drops you would expect. And I mentioned new cards, Fanatical Firebrand. It's sort of a Mog Fanatic, right? It's just a nice 1-drop Goblin Pirate. Foundry Street Citizen, a great 1-drop, gets +1 over another red creature in the battlefield. Of course, the Bushwhackers, Goblin Bushwhacker, Reckless Bushwhacker. This is why this is a deck after all. Goblin Grenades to sacrifice those goblins for the burn to finish them off. Same with the Lightning Bolts down here. Goblin Guides, because hey, it's a red deck, you always have Goblin Guides. Legion Loyalists. Now, this is the card people underestimate. It just seems like nothing. It just seems so bad. It's a 1-mana 1/1. Yeah, it has haste, but it's just so good in this particular deck. So whenever it and at least 2 other creatures attack, creatures you control gain first strike and trample into a turn and can't be blocked by creature tokens. So if your opponent boards in timely reinforcements, that doesn't work. If your opponent has lingering souls, that doesn't work. This card is actually just very absurdly powerful. And yeah, maybe sometimes it dies in combat, but most of the time you just kill him. He's got 15 mountains, 4 Ramanap Ruins. I rotated from standard by getting banned, I guess. But now we can play it in Modern. Why not? It actually works pretty well in this deck. Even though you don't ever want to activate it. You don't want to have 5 lands in play. But it's here. Why not? So yeah, 2-drop spot. The Burning Tree Emissaries, of course. And Flame of Keld. I liked this one. This was a nice inclusion. It's pretty easy to play as your last card. And then you're going to have a great turn after you draw and you get to ultimate it. So keep in mind, I don't know that I've ever played 8-Whack. Like, I've played similar-ish decks, I guess, in the past. I don't know that I've ever actually just played this deck with 28 1-drops before. And I failed to mention Devastating Summons. Seems bad, right? You sacrifice your lands for 1 mana, but you get 2 XX Elementals after you sacrifice that many lands. So the idea is you sacrifice 3-4 lands or whatever. You get 2 3/3s, 2 4/4s, and then you just bushwhack them and you win the game. So nice one, 2 of here, you know, the end of the game reach. So onto the sideboard, Dismember where you need it, Damping Sphere for the combo matchups. Mostly what you expect. Shattering Spree, Searing Blood for the creature matchups. But also Alpine Moon. Need some Alpine Moons here to deal with Tron. Now, keep in mind, I think our Tron matchup's actually already pretty good just due to how fast we are. But Alpine Moon against Tron, why not? It's pretty good. Escape Shift as well, by the way. And then Risk Factor. I have no idea if this is good, but hey, I want to try Guilds of Ravnica. This is what you would call a Punisher card. It's basically Browbeat. And these cards have almost basically never been good in Magic because you give your opponent the choice. If it doesn't bother them to let you have 3 cards because they're about to kill you, then they'll give you the cards, and otherwise they'll just take the damage instead of giving you the cards, and they'll win. The idea is that by giving them the option of which to choose, you're almost always going to end up with an option you don't want. However, I think this might be it. BBD agreed that this could be the one that breaks the mold because of Jumpstart. Get it? It just adds so much. If you have a land in hand and you play this, and you're just flooding out, yeah, it's terrible when they just take the damage or whatever. But Jumpstart just completely changes it. It's suddenly say they take the damage. Well, that's 8 damage you're dealing with 2 cards here and 6 mana over 2 turns. It's very, very powerful. And obviously getting cards is good as well. And yes, clearly, sometimes it won't work out. But I think the power level might be close enough to give it a shot. I like it here in the sideboard against control, that sort of thing. So, and it's an instant, by the way. I think it's actually got some nice work it can do here. So that's the deck, everybody. Steam-Kin, Stompy, whatever you want to call it. It's 8-Whack. It's been fun. Thank you for watching. If you're watching this before the videos, enjoy the matches. If you're watching it after, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.